Big wide world of internet stuff. It's me, JJW. Why am I Deacon's voice again? Why am I Deacon's voice? It's me, Deacon's voice. Let me fix that right now. Can't believe it. Deacon keeps hijacking me.
Everyone needs to be my voice.
I am JJW. That is Deacon. He's invisible right now, but you can hear his voice two spots above
I'm
us.
making coffee.
He's making coffee. Speaking of coffee, it is out of reach and out of shot. This is going to be an issue. I am JJ. That is Deacon. We are your two dads. Our show runs Monday through Friday at 6:30 in the morning ish. Scheduled to be determined, but always. But if you're interested in the show at all, please hit like. Please hit subscribe. We need like for the engagement. Leave a comment and tell us how terrible it is. Tell me how wrong my opinions are on everything. Most importantly, just engage so that we get bumped on the algorithm. Deacon, good morning, sir. How is the radio station this morning?
The radio station is running good this morning. As you can see, I am here at the radio station, so I'll be jumping back and forth between here and there throughout the hour. But everything's going good this morning. I have to, because we've started our show, I have to rush some of the things that I do in the morning. So yeah, I've been rushed for about an hour now trying to get my stuff done, but it's all right. I've got a groove. I've went into a little groove. So
I am grateful that you cram some of that stuff early in your morning so that we have this opportunity to have this little show in the morning. We are still evolving and figuring out the show, I think this time frame kind of works, but obviously I got little kids, so sometimes we have to end the show early. Anyway, so Deacon, this is a very special episode. We got I think we have a couple of our regular viewers here this morning, and good morning to all of you. But today's a special episode because we have a guest dad this morning.
Like super dad, because I think he's a granddad.
Oh, is he really? Well, I
think so.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, GhostDog54. Now, GhostDog54 is an acquaintance of ours. He is a longtime supporter of our, I'm going to say former podcast.
Because at this time it is former.
It's certainly former to me, but technically, what is it whenever somebody's in hospice and they're plugged into a breathing machine and it technically isn't dead, but I mean, it seems to be pretty dead. Anyway, a longtime supporter of our former podcast and kind of a YouTube star in his own right. I think it's fair to say you have 1,100 subs or something like that over on your channel, GhostDog54, youtube.com/GhostDog54, where your content traditionally is Marvel Contest of Champions games and news and streaming. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Are we transitioning? Are we trying to transition a little bit?
For the most part. Well, I've done that. I've done Marvel show breakdowns on my channel. So all the Disney Plus shows with Captain Bay and I and myself and a guy named Cameron, who has a comic book movie review channel. We get together at the end of each season of the Disney Plus shows, and we do breakdowns. We'll do breakdowns of the movies. And then obviously I have my MCLC. I got Manuel here who just hopped in. Who I promoted you guys'
welcome to the
show on my Discord. So we may have a couple people from my Discord in here as well to get some additional support to the show. But there's Manuel Blasphemy. So you will always live in our hearts, maybe not in the app store, right?
Right.
So a lot of us are like Deacon asked me earlier, was I still playing? Yes, I still play. I have, 40 plus rank 3s. I got 4 rank 4s with I have a potential rank 5 that I can, or another rank 4 I can do. I have a 5th one.
Dude. But that's pretty awesome.
I still play, but it's definitely not the same way that I used to be involved in depth in the game and streaming as much as I used to. And my subs will tell you, like they ask me all the time, when you stream it again, because you don't stream enough anymore. And I was like, yeah, I know. I have other ventures that I have going on. So including today, the reason why I'm here is I have to have surgery on my arm.
Oh no.
So as soon as I get off here with you guys, I gotta start getting ready to go to the hospital, and they're gonna cut my arm and repair my tendon from bowling.
Oh,
yikes.
He has a sports injury.
Yeah.
A sports injury.
Sports injury.
Hardcore.
I bowled for a long time. I'm not as good as those guys that I could never get that spin just right, you know?
That spin is what tore the ligament.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm no bowling expert, but I bowled off and on all my life. And the spin is so important because kids, if you've never bowled, when you're bowling, you know, there's a pace that you start off with, like 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, whatever your system is, and you roll. But if you roll and you move your hand over the top of the ball while you are releasing it, you put a spin on it, and it allows you to launch the ball at the edge, but come in at the angle of the 1-3
little
pins.
English on it.
Yeah, and if you come in at that angle of those 1-3 pins, you can actually do a more reliable strike and get all of them down.
I bowled in a league for many, many years, and I was never as good. I had like a 170 something average, but those other dudes, man, I could sit there and watch them. They're so amazing to watch that ball shoot. I could never get it to do that. So awesome.
So I'm not too good at the roll. I am pretty good at the straight down the line. So I try to hit it straight down the line off center of the 1 pin. But more often than not, I end up getting a 7-10 split. And then I'm like both like satisfied for getting 8 and also super disappointed because I'm never going to get a 7-10 split.
7-10 split's the toughest split.
Never going to happen. I got to get my coffee.
I want to ask you, Ghost Dog, real quick. I want to go back to MCOC just real quick. What do you think one of the downfalls of our game was? And I'll give you what I think. I said it years ago on the podcast. You may have heard me say this and us talk about this on the podcast. I always told them I thought the characters releasing were way too many. And I said this like 2 years ago. I was like, you know, it's great that we're getting 2 characters a month. This is great for nerds like us that want the lore and want the characters. But look at it now, man. I mean, the pool is so saturated with characters, and there's undesirable characters that I think that kills the momentum. It killed the momentum for me. The last 6-star I opened up was I don't even remember who it was, but I remember I took a screenshot and I posted in the Alliance chat, and I was like, this is why I don't log in this much anymore. You know, I don't remember who it was. And then they tried to defend the character. Oh, they're good. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah. They're not what I wanted. Yeah. So that's
right.
That
not
has
what I
a lot
wanted.
to do with some people leaving the game. I think that's a combination of like the top of the pyramid for it. Like, it's all the other stuff that built up to that, and then you do the chase and you go after these certain champs. Like my community will tell you, like, I chased one champ for probably 8 months. Finally got him in a way that felt very, very bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a July 4th weekend. Essentially, you spend 18,000 units in the 10,000 unit offer. At the level I was at, they offered a year of the 2021 champions, and you can just pick one.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But that was after spending 7 Science Nexus crystals, and I think 3 basic Nexus that same day, and him not showing up in any, not even close to even remotely sniffing the guy.
So I know and some of our audience are super normies, and they're like, "What are you guys even talking about?" It's a video game on a phone, and you play as a Marvel character, including many of the ones you're familiar with, like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and all of those.
Think about any Marvel character that you've read in the comics; they might most likely be in the game.
And over the last year or two, some really trash characters that you've never even thought about, and they're in there too. And that's basically your selection for the last year or two. But anyway, it is a. I got to say, in my opinion, it was a lot of fun for the time, but it hasn't evolved in the same way that the market has evolved in games.
It's tried. But I don't think I think they've missed the mark.
Yeah,
it's very repetitive. There's other things that's within the game though over the last year and a half, 2 years that's made it. We've had terrible input issues. We've had lag. Yep. I mean, you guys remember the lag. You guys were playing when the lag was happening.
Yeah, and all that stuff killed it. And I think JJ hit it the other day. We were talking off mic about it, and JJ said something that I didn't think about, and I hate to think about this because I love Gabe, but I think the Realm of Champions killed Contest of Champions. It just killed it, man.
Well, I want to say it might be the other way around. Is that because of
Realm,
because of Realm not getting the support it needed, it died, and because the people who play Marvel Contest Champions aren't the same player base normally who's going to play Realm.
That's a good point.
There were a good group of people who went over and played. I tried it. It's not my kind of game. Not my kind of game.
I mean, I decided within the first week, I was like, I understand what this is. This is not interesting to me.
Yeah, it took me about it. And I tried because it was my girl's type of game, and I figured if I could stay interested, she would stay interested. I was interested for about 2 weeks. She was interested for about another 2 more weeks after that, and we both just fell off the Realm game.
Okay, I'm glad that I heard you say that because JJ's girls are still a little too young to do this, but he will experience this. It's something that I experience too. Is trying to find a game that me and my kids can both play together.
Well, that's not going to contest because my son was playing. I seen him playing one day, and I was like, "What game is
Same
that?"
with me. Same with me.
Well, let me load up. And I'll start playing, and then he quit 2 weeks into it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep.
You're telling my story because my name is Deacon, my son's name. I'm playing his account that he started on my phone, and the reason is because my account, Papa Rudd, had terrible characters, and Deacon had better characters. So I started playing his character, and now I'm forever known as him. So I'm Deacon, my son's name.
Yeah. You're wearing your son's name as your moniker.
But
my kids are very, very young. It is 10 years at least before I even let them hold a cell phone. So maybe in 10 years there will be like a My Little Pony combat game or something. I don't know.
10 years before they can hold a cell phone?
I'm not giving them a phone, man. The internet's evil. It is going to try to.
Look, I said the same thing.
No, I did too.
My son started getting into sports at 8. Mm-hmm. And I needed a way for him when he needed a ride back. Like he had a ride there, but if he needed a ride back while I was at work, so he can get in touch with me.
Let me tell you.
I don't like these things you're saying, Ghost Dog. I don't like them at all.
Listen, Dad. You might not like them, but this is the truth. So you're going to have to listen to this. I'm going to tell you one too that you're not going to like, JJ. I've had to have a discussion with my ex about my girls using technology because they live on a farm, a chicken farm, a goat farm, and they don't use a lot of technology, and they're homeschooled and stuff like that. And I told her, I was like, they're going to be behind. It's like, I understand your feelings on technology, and I completely agree with them. I do not disagree with your feelings. I'm just having to look at it a different way, because if I do what I want to do with my girls and not expose them to technology and keep them away, because I do agree that there's some terrible, terrible things on the internet. Am I giving them a detriment in the future because they are not as
technology
up to date on technology as everybody else?
Can I have a few less nightmares for the next 10 years?
We can change the subject. I'm sorry.
I got one more. Go on, JJ.
Go on.
My oldest granddaughter, who is 5 now, has a cell phone.
No, dude.
Her dad bought her a cell phone.
You need to ground her dad.
Her dad bought her a cell phone so that they could talk via FaceTime whenever she wanted.
That's another one in technology for divorced parents and single parents and stuff like that, to be able to keep in contact and stuff like that. Maggie I'll see my phone pop up and it'll be Maggie and it'll be her face and it'll just be, hey Dad, my chicken had babies and blah blah blah, and she'll show me a chick and I'll be like, okay, and then she's like, bye. And then and I told Ashley one night, she said, isn't that great, because I still feel like I'm kind of a part, every time, because as a single dad, that's something that has plagued me for how my deacon's 14, so it's plagued me for 12 years now, is that I'm not there every day, and so that eats at my soul more than anything, is that I'm not there every day. Yep. So to have technology like that to let me have, hey Dad, look at the chicken and blah blah blah, and I love you, and I'm like, okay, I love you too. It was like 30 seconds, and I'm like, that was healing. So
that's a legitimate problem. And it is such a bummer, because there's no way for me to make fun or light or have fun with that topic. So that's so that's awful. But but that's a legitimate issue for many people, and maybe there's got to be something better. I don't know. And hopefully there's all kinds of safeguards in place.
There are safeguards that you can put in place. There are many safeguards. And let me tell you, Ghost Dog probably knows about this, because every freaking parent knows about the app Life 360. And it is a wonderful, wonderful thing, especially if you have kids.
Battery, though. Yeah.
Mine runs 24 hours a day. Location on. It doesn't really do anything to me.
Well, it's just, I'm kind of worried about all the effects of my kids holding electric devices and like all of the rewiring that happens in your brain, right? So like, I don't let them, we don't have an iPad. If we had, I wouldn't let them touch it. We barely let them watch TV. So, I want them to be like playing with imaginary stuff or reading books. So that's where I'm at right now.
Which is a very admirable thing. I completely praise y'all for that, because I read it was a paper on, this wasn't too long ago, I come across this, and it was like a collegiate paper, and who the crap reads that crap? And I was like, but it sounded interesting, so I read it, and it was on how we need to take these electronics away from our kids sometimes, because boredom fosters imagination and creativity. And the whole paper was talking about that. And I was like, when you get bored, now when my kid when they say, I'm bored, I hand them something, electronic device or a controller or something. And I don't hand them a book or tell them to go outside like I did. And I was like, that's right. Boredom fosters creativity and imagination. And we're losing that crap, because we're constantly.
If your kid hasn't played with dirt and rocks in your driveway, they haven't lived.
No.
That's what we did when I was a kid. It was G.I. Joes and sticks and dirt and rocks. That's what we had.
I always said, if I come in the house, my parents or grandparents would be like, get outside, get out of the house. I would get in trouble if I come in the house.
In or out.
In or out.
In or out. If you're reading a book or something. And if you're out, you're
cleaning.
Shout out to Manuel Rosario, your buddy. Daughter's 8. I assume it's a he. Will not get her a phone. I got her a Kindle as a Facebook Messenger, kids on it, and she can only talk to those who we had. And that's a pretty good solution. That's a pretty good solution.
And the Kindles are a really great start, because
the Kindles are like a little iPad though, right? They're not. I'm thinking like the black and white.
There's only so much they're allowed to do on it.
Yeah,
and you can put books on there, and so when they get bored, instead of playing a game, they can read.
Right. Well,
we're not trying to convince you to do anything, because I think that you're very admirable in what you're doing. I was just giving you some things that I didn't see.
There are problems that we're going to have to encounter along the way. That is not one that I'm looking to encounter anytime soon. And
I will say, JJ, you're probably going to run into the school giving them something before you give them something.
Yep. The school will give them.
Probably give them a tablet or a notebook
every year.
Computers. There's other schools. All right. So, speaking of school, I need to learn something. We learned a lot this weekend about San Diego Comic-Con and all kinds of stuff that's happening at Marvel for the next year, because the stuff that's been happening for the last year and a half hasn't been working too well. So they got this plan out for Phase 5. We watched a bunch of trailers yesterday, GhostDog, but we haven't seen Wakanda Forever, and we got some Wakanda Forever. We have some Wakanda Forever related news. So we're gonna watch this trailer real quick, and then I'm gonna tell you a little story.
Make me cry on stream on the stream.
Will it really? Is it that good?
It's good.
I know that some people love Wakanda, the Black Panther movie, and I thought, good. Nah, it's okay. That is my opinion, but many other people have a very different relationship with it. And to each. I thought it was it was okay. And certainly, here's the context. I'm sure everybody knows the star of Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, passed away. I think it was 2 years ago. I think it was in 2020.
Yeah.
Wow, it's been 2 years.
I feel like it has, but I don't know. Somebody have to check me on that. And obviously, the big dilemma is, how do you have a sequel to a $1 billion movie when the star's long gone from this world?
But that was what was beautiful about Black Panther, I thought, was like the mythos of the Black Panther was that it could be. It doesn't have to be him.
Right.
All right.
August 28th, which is my girl's birthday.
Yeah.
My fiance's birthday. August 28th, 2020.
Yeah. So almost 2 years. Coming up. We're coming up on 2 years. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, lower the lights. Pay full attention. Give all of your attention for the passing of the Black Panther.
No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry.
Oh, that's awesome.
That looks good. Wait, I'm sorry. Wakanda has a beach?
Wakanda has whatever. Wakanda has whatever they need.
Yes.
I didn't know Wakanda had a beach.
I didn't know that. They need.
These guys. Okay, here we go. This looks like
we might stop this 2 or 3 times to avoid.
I'm not sure, but I think that YouTube will get mad if I just straight play the trailer.
If we just stream and don't talk in it or something.
If you guys see something you want to comment on, say something, because and I'll stop it and go back or something.
The freaking music so far. Bob Marley is God to me. So the music so far is awesome.
Oh, he's dead too.
He's been gone a long time.
That joke was supposed to go into a trailer. It didn't play.
No.
Don't shed no tear. No woman.
Hey, that looks good. That reminds me a little bit of Kanye West doing this stuff. Remember in 2020, 2021, he was doing the church choir stuff, and he would have all the people dressed in white and stand in these circles, and a little bit of that. I mean, it's striking is what I mean to say. It's a strikingly visual image for everybody to be wearing white, which I assume is a funeral procession. Maybe a wedding.
Along the way, in this great future, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears.
Oh, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
But
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. But I get it. Okay. It's not. I would have taken the transition. I'm pregnant, and then here's the baby, and I would have been I understand what happened.
Without the cord and stuff, right? Yeah.
I mean, okay. Hold on, I got one more thing to say. She's giving birth in a pond.
No, she's not giving birth in a pond.
It's not? What is it?
She's giving birth in the ocean.
In the ocean?
Underneath, in the bottom of the ocean.
In the bottom of the ocean. They got hospitals, though, in Wakanda.
Well, that's not in Wakanda.
That's not in Wakanda. Oh, okay. See, I need this context. I need this help. Oh, wow. Oh, are those the Atlanteans?
Yeah, that's Lego people.
Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright.
So-
I like her. What's her name? Something Letitia Wright.
Yeah,
She
Letitia
plays-
Wright. Yeah.
And her character's name in the movie was Shuri.
Yep, and the
Shuri.
girl next to her is the girl that's going to be playing Ironheart.
Okay, that's exciting.
Everything's gonna be alright.
Her right
I'm sorry. Say that again.
there. Her in the red right there. She's gonna be
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
Ironheart.
Ironheart. Looking forward to that. 2023. I think that is.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Hey, go. JJ, can you go back and show who's going to play Riri again? Yeah, her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, cool.
I
That's
don't
cool.
recognize her. I don't recognize her.
I don't either, but I just wanted to see her. That's awesome. Okay.
So she looks like she's a little bit shorter than
Riri's a little girl.
Yeah, Riri's a kid.
She's
Okay.
freaking smarter than anybody.
Isn't she? I thought she was from like somewhere in the US.
Yeah, it looks like she might be there like on a program. Remember in the Black Panther when they said they were starting some kind of like
Right.
program?
Yeah.
She might be there based on that program.
Oh, I
right.
bet you're right because I bet that's how because
Look-
Riri, I mean, she re-engineered an Iron Man suit. She made it, and that's how she got everybody's.
Yeah.
They're like, "What the hell?"
So this does look like it's in Wakanda because it got this silly
That's
looking
awesome.
furniture and stuff.
This
and it's
looks
all, like,
awesome,
modern.
dude.
Okay. Okay.
Dominique Thorne is her name.
Oh.
Dominique Thorne is the actress. She's 15.
Okay, so Manuel is making fun of me for not knowing that Africa is surrounded by water. I know Africa's surrounded by water, bro. I know Africa's surrounded by water, but guess what? There's also a lot of countries in Africa. And nobody could find Wakanda for until 2018.
Wakanda is wherever they needed to be at that moment.
And the way to get into it was to fly across the jungle and into a magic bubble or something. So if they had a port, why didn't they just go in at the beach? Why they got to fly into a magic tree bubble?
As a kid, I always had
Africa's surrounded by water.
As a kid, I always had this fantastical mind's eye vision of Wakanda. You would see it in the books and stuff like that, but I just imagined kind of like Ghost Dog. It was always wherever you wanted it to be. It wasn't located in one spot on the continent.
I feel like your position on it is probably the best one to take. It's it doesn't matter. It's wherever it is.
Jeremy, you don't like the No Woman No Cry at the beginning?
Oh no, it's great.
It's great. Yeah.
I'm not sure what you guys mean.
The song, No Woman No Cry.
The song.
What's the name of the song?
I'm not a music. I'm not a music.
JJ doesn't listen to music.
Come on,
I know.
I really don't.
That's
you live in a cave?
That's one of the few things that we differ on.
Yeah. Basically, look, this making music around 1997.
Internet.
Yeah, that would be great.
About 1987, you think?
1997. About 1997. Yeah. Although some really great stuff came out in the 80s. So I would definitely listen to the 80s. Basically, okay, anyway, let's not talk about how old I am. All right, so I'm laughing at Namor.
I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone.
Okay, I had to stop here too. That's looked
cool.
like that might be a dramatic scene right there where she is doing this right here. Everybody else is put their mics down, like this. She's gonna talk. Everybody else down. That looks like that might be great because that looks like that's in the UN or something like that. She's probably announcing that the Black Panther has, I don't know, because that's, if I'm not mistaken, that she's playing Black Panther's mom, right?
Yeah, that's she played Black Panther's mom in the first one. So Angela Bassett as Auntie Angela, as we like to refer to her. She's in everything.
Stella. That's Stella. We got a group back.
I'm pretty sure she was in a movie called Strange Days. Back
She's
in
everything.
Yeah. That's the first thing I thought of.
She doesn't look a day over. She doesn't look a day over 50.
She looks good.
In any
and
way.
it looks like this dude right here. Oh, geez, what did I do? Here we go. Sorry. It looks like this dude right here is wearing a mask. Mask. All right.
Yeah.
They can do anything with vibranium, but they can't beat co-flu.
Battling is gone.
Yeah.
Have I not given everything?
Oh. All right. November this year.
All right.
November
11th.
Marvel's making some money. I want to go back to. I want to see who Sunglasses
And
is.
my entire family is gone.
See who
Have I
Sunglasses
not
is.
given everything?
Oh, missed it. Who was that in sunglasses? Is that who I think it is?
That's the one agent from the first movie.
Oh, okay.
Agent Ross.
I thought for some reason it looked like it's just so fast. It's so fast.
Yes, it's
Anyway.
a very quick glimpse of him, but it's Agent Ross from the
all
last
right,
movie.
so we got a silhouette here of a person in a Black Panther suit. Who is that person?
There have been a lot of speculations which were completely wrong of it being Killmonger returning. It's not Killmonger.
Right.
It's going to be, I'm guessing based on the body type, it's going to be a female Black Panther. We know in the comics that Shuri took up the mantle.
Yeah.
At some point. So it could be Shuri, it could be Latita. Or sorry, I call her Latita. That's her actual real name. It could be
Okoye?
It could be Okoye. It could be also Nakia, which I thought it could be because Nakia was asked in the first Black Panther movie to take the Earth.
Yeah.
And she turned it down, saying that she's not a warrior, but she could take it up based on the fact that we no longer have.
I'm not sure that's a
T'Challa.
female. That might be a female. I'm not sure.
It looks female to me.
The hips to
I think-
torso
we got you.
ratio.
We got you.
I think you're right, though. I think it will be a female too.
All right. Well, I mean, I expect Shuri to be a Black Panther, maybe I think that there's a White Panther or White Tiger or something like that also, but I don't know, but I'm not sure who this is. Okay, well, we do know
what's
that
his
this one's
name
gonna make
was-
$1 billion.
What's his name was? Who was he? Wasn't he the White Winter Soldier? Wasn't he? What was his name?
He's the White Wolf.
Yeah, I don't know if he's
the
gonna
White
show up in this
Wolf. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like he's in the movie. All right, so that is the Wakanda Forever trailer, but there's some adjacent news related to Wakanda, and we want to hit on this. I'm gonna go with full screen now, no audio, because we're gonna jump between a couple of things. So this story is on Bounding Into Comics. Bounding Into Comics is not NewsGuard certified, but it is. I think this is a legit story. Disney and Marvel face massive backlash for using the late Chadwick Boseman's Twitter account to promote Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Hold on now. Hold on. Which means that they're doing to. Obviously, somebody's getting compensated. Somebody, the estate of the Boseman estate is down with it. Must be something like that. But the same thing that is happening to Stan Lee's account, and so this is now two different accounts that are being puppeted.
This is the new
Marvel properties.
normal. This is the new normal in our society in celebrities and stuff.
So let me hit some of the details here real quick. Having apparently learned nothing from the overwhelmingly negative reaction to the recent licensing of Marvel icon Stan Lee's likeness for future CGI revivals, Disney has come under fire from both fans and general audiences alike for using Chadwick Boseman's Twitter account to promote the first teaser of their upcoming film, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Released on this last weekend, it's SDCC that features M'Baku, Ramonda, Shuri, all of the cast of characters. We just watched the trailer. Okay, so initial reaction, gross, right? Don't you think it's gross to use a dead man's account to speak in his name on behalf of a movie he wasn't part of?
Yes.
I think it's gross. I've also been okay, so that story they mentioned before, Marvel licenses Stan Lee's likeness. This is from May 19th, 2022. New deal opens door for CGI appearances of legendary creator in Disney theme parks and future MCU projects. Also gross. It's one thing when the person is still alive and they're like, oh, go ahead and de-age me and, put me in the movie. I consent, which they've done a few times, right? And then in, I think it was Star Wars Rogue One, God forgive
Leia, young Leia.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher had recently passed. And they kind of put that in as an homage to her, but they barely had any lines, and they may have used her dialogue. I don't remember how it goes, but that was like
her daughter
kind of on the
played her part. And they did the deep fake stuff over her, but the deep fake stuff at that time wasn't as freaking amazing as it is today. If you haven't seen any like 2022 deep fakes, it's freaking amazing. But this is the new normal. This is the new normal for celebrities, man.
In that movie Rogue One, they also did Grand Moff Tarkin. I think it was Grand Moff Tarkin. Was it that movie or was it one of the Star Wars Disney movies?
Was it Peter Sellers?
Yeah.
Who was Grand Moff Tarkin?
I think so. But they did like full CG on that dude and like reviving that character's appearance. So what Marvel's talking about doing now is whole cloth inventing a CGI Stan Lee to plug into their movies so that they can continue to latch on to the public the fond public sentiment of Stan Lee, who was by no means an angel, but he certainly has a place in Marvel history that is not replaceable.
Right.
But this is gross, and
you don't think this is what we're going to see forever now?
I mean, sadly, this probably will be what we see forever as people who had big parts in either creating such as Stan Lee or I hope this is the only time they use Chadwick Boseman in any of these projects for Black Panther or anything that requires that character to be a thing. Like you can speak about him.
Right, you can speak about them, about their character, but how would you feel if Ghost Dog in like Black Panther 5, there's a scene where the Black Panther in that movie
they put him as a ghost, right? They put him as a ghost. Yeah.
And they use Chadwick Boseman's stuff to be the ghost to give him some. I mean, is that even pushing the line?
If you're talking a visual ghost, terrible. Yeah. If you're talking, I don't know.
I know it's kind of. I know
that's kind of rough because I don't know. I don't think I personally want to see that. Maybe if you use like some of the speaking lines he had in the current Black Panther, when he was telling like the other people like we were wrong.
Take that, echo it in the background or something like. Yeah,
I mean, you know what? At the very minimum, this is something that should be agonized over about whether we should or shouldn't to be most respectful or whatever. This thing with Stan Lee that they're doing is like, oh, we're straight just going to make a cartoon Stan Lee. We're going to put him at the front of everything, and he would be okay with it.
Instead of Stan Lee being in every movie now, make Stan Lee's visage be in every movie. They would be walking down the street, and when they stop to talk and have this scene, in the background is a poster of Stan Lee's face. It could be a cartoon, it could be something, but always make it visible. You know, there's so many ways to do it. Hollywood just decides to do it a certain way based on freaking what their test audiences say and what some Joe Blow in Office 3C says.
This has been going on since Stanley died, right? Since Stanley died, his Twitter account was being run by POW Entertainment. POW Entertainment is a company that he was doing business with shortly before his death, and then sued, I think. And then, I mean, like, there was like legal entanglements, and then his only daughter, I think her name is JC, was involved in a legal entanglement. It was a very much of a mess. Stan Lee had no contractual relationship, had no active employment relationship with Marvel at the time that he, passed. He was a figure in their properties, so he had those in relationships, but his active company that he was engaged in was this company POW Entertainment, which I think was sold to China. I read that somewhere. I'm not sure. But POW Entertainment is running the Stan Lee account as a puppet. And for years, they have been promoting this or that, or talking about this stuff or that stuff, or promoting POW stuff in his name. And again, maybe JC and them have come to some sort of a financial arrangement or whatever. But fans find it gross and disgusting. And every single time Stan Lee account posts on Twitter, people will respond with something like this: should Marvel Disney use a dead man's Twitter to promote their movie? 34,000 people voted no. 34,000. This is in response to a Chadwick Boseman tweet, but they do it to the Stan Lee tweets all the time. You can pick one here at random, and you're going to find responses that are like, let's see. Let's just pick one at random and see what happens. Looking forward to the San Diego Comic-Con.
I'm muted. That's why you can't hear me.
I was like, I see your hand moving. I was like,
I know. I was muted. I'm sorry. I was like, let me ask a question. Let me ask a question.
Is that random response? Yeah.
Out of those 34,000 people, how many of them know that Stan Lee in his lifetime screwed over hundreds of artists and did not give them the proper compensation that they needed? Oh, yeah. And their families to this day still could have the proper compensation and be different families today. Yeah. How many people know that about Stan Lee that vilify him and put him up on a silver platter? Because I'm not the biggest Stan Lee fan. I respect what he did in certain things that he did and what he did for comics, but he shit on a lot of artists.
He definitely put his name on stuff that he didn't necessarily
absolutely he did.
In. And you know what? Marvel and DC to this day continue to screw over artists and writers and not give them royalties, not pay them their equity and character creation, wiggle their way out of contracts. Right now, you have a wave of derivative characters that are being, you have like Superman, right? So you have Schuster, Siegel family have like equity in Superman, but Jonathan Kent, gay Superman, is a derivative character, and therefore they don't have to pay equity in that. And so they take Jonathan Kent and make him the star of the Superman book, and now they don't have to pay the Siegel or Schuster. I think that's them families, because whatever. And they do this constantly, and until they get called out and there's big public back wave, and then they kind of like dole out some cash, and then they're back to business. So here's my point right here. Like, you can go into any random Stan Lee tweet and you're going to find, looking forward to you logging out. You're not Stan Lee. Stop pandering. Retire this account. And you're about to see a bunch of that from the Chadwick Boseman. Look, the person behind this account selling NFTs. So the Chadwick Boseman account, you're about to have a bunch of the same kind of stuff.
Yeah, if it continues. Yeah.
I mean, so anyway, I find this story to be outrageous and salacious, but I do not find it to be shocking or disturbing, YouTube, and therefore we should not get a strike. It's just the news. It's just the news. All right. So that, I mean, you guys have any other thoughts on this? But I mean, this is Marvel, Disney making some choices. You know that this is to make sure that they have blockbuster turnout in November. Anyway, so I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts about that particular story.
I see that a couple people, like Manuel says he's 50-50 with it about 50 years from now. When Avengers 25, OG Cap Chris Evans comes back to fight the big bad, looking how he did in Endgame. Yeah. Talk about the
youthified CGI youthified.
If they're alive and they're agreeing to it, I'm fine with that. It's more along the lines of, let's take these two dead icons,
right,
and let's do things with their Twitter accounts and their likeness, and let's bring somebody in to stand in for them, but we're going to put their actual physical form on them.
Right.
That's terrible. Like Jeremy says, if it serves a decent story in the film, it's fine to use his likeness for the character. I'm even not that far. I'm more like, if you want to use the words in the background, I'm probably more along those lines. If it's just advertising with a dead actor, it's despicable.
They definitely have Boseman in the film, rendered in the film, not himself, right? And so I don't know. I don't know exactly what the relationship is between Marvel and the estate of Chadwick Boseman, who's running his likeness rights or whatever. But to continue, like I'm even willing to grant, like, okay, here's an exception. This actor who was working on this project and it was very important to him died before they could do it. So I mean, he died before Ryan Coogler even wrote Black Panther 2.
Right.
Okay. So I mean, like he was on board in concept. He was on board with the idea, but then died. So, Coogler had to write around it. And I'm kind of okay with here's a gray area exception. But like Stan Lee's been dead for like 7 years. And, and to continue to reuse Chadwick Boseman, to continue to reuse Stan Lee after this, I mean, come on. You got what? That's all the gas you guys got in the tank. Come on, Marvel, Disney.
I don't agree with using it, but there's a part that it's like you kind of respect, you want to be like, okay, I see the respect that you're trying to show in that part, but does the respect outweigh the profit margin that they're getting? I don't.
I mean,
respect.
Let's be
gone.
Sure.
There's plenty of other actors. There's plenty of other actors that would love to be able to have the chance to play the Black Panther,
Okay, so here's Manuel's got like the guy who played General Ross. I think that was William Hurt. No, it's not William Hurt. It's William Hurt's the other fella. Was it William Hurt?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll say it's William Hurt. He passed away. Love to see him in the movies to return to Red Hulk. I mean, I know what you're saying, and that would be nice, but let's leave it there as that would have been nice, but let's not, I don't know. I feel like this devalues humanity, right? When you just turn people into cartoons. That's just my opinion. Okay. We only got a few more minutes left before my kids get up in here. So I do want to touch on a couple stories. Do you guys like football? Like
American football or soccer?
Sure. Yeah, like American football.
Of course, I love American football.
You love American football, Deacon? You like football?
Yeah.
You're gonna be shocked to know that I know almost nothing about football.
Living in Texas, how is that possible, JJ?
I mean, listen, I
went to college down there. I was like, why are the lights on? Is it a college team playing?
No,
No, it's Friday
definitely
night, all the high school kids.
Football is absolutely part of the culture of Texas, and
culture? I thought it was the culture in Texas.
It may be the culture. Well,
how do they let you live in Texas? Is what I want to know.
I'm not sure I'm allowed. I am not sure I'm allowed.
They just
to be
don't know.
He lives in a cave.
The infamous Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has proposed a $2.2 billion plan to entice the NFL team to stay because the Bears getting out of here. Bears moving on to a safer suburb. They want out of Chicago.
It's called Chirac for a reason. There.
Now,
especially where
I don't think it's a too controversial position to say that she's an awful mayor and a very strange looking person. Very strange. Look like the
Any politician from Illinois is
under
a
the
crook.
eyes or whatever. Yeah,
I live this far from Southern Illinois. Okay, I live this far. The most southern city in Illinois is a town called Metropolis that has a huge Superman. We have a Superman festival. It's freaking awesome. But anyway, Southern Illinois is on the other side of that long ass state from Chicago. So guess how much money they get? None.
Jeremy says that I'm on Texas probation for my stance on footballs. Football. On Monday, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot proposed a $900 million to $2.2 billion Hail Mary offer to convince the Bears to stay in their home stadium of over 50 years. However, the Chicago Bears stated in a press release earlier this month that they wouldn't consider any other would not consider any other offers, even for their home stadium, Soldier Field. The NFL team reaffirmed this sentiment to ESPN earlier this week, noting that they were set on moving to another location over 30 miles away. So, they're
just moving 30 miles away.
They're in Illinois. They're not moving out of Illinois.
Yeah, it's not like they're moving
out of Chicago.
So they're only moving 30 miles away, and she wants to spend $2.2 billion. Whose $2.2 billion is that? And
yours?
She can't think of anything better to do with that money that they probably don't have, since like
Nashville's
50 people get shot every weekend.
Nashville's doing like the same thing right now. They're building a new stadium for the Titans, but because the Titans stadium, they say, is like in sad disarray. And I mean, it's been there like 20 years. And yeah, sure, it's not the most technological stadium, but they're fixing to do that down in Nashville.
I sort of despise
I believe what the mayor of Chicago's the reason why if they move 30 miles away, they lose all that revenue.
I bet you're right.
Yes, that's right.
$2.2 billion to keep the team there for another 30 years is probably worth $10 billion.
Yep, you're right. You're right. Yep. It's going to pay off in the long run to keep them there. To pay $2 billion, you're making 8 more.
There's no other reason why you would pay $2.2 billion to entice the team to stay. But what part of Chicago do you put it in? Because the suburbs of Chicago are all saturated. So the only place they have the space is where it's currently at, and it's unsafe.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it what's the safety factor if you GhostDog were like, come on, JJ and Deacon, let's go to a Bears game.
A football game.
I would go just because I have a dream of visiting every NFL stadium before I die. Right. So I would go.
You're like a super.
But I would go straight to the game. And leave right after. Like it would be no hanging out.
All right. Well. Anyway. So. I mean, guys, do you know how much money $2.2 billion is?
That would cut into some of the deficit, right?
Ludicrous amount of money. I mean, it wouldn't make much of a hit on our deficit, but it's still a lot of money.
Let me point out something that we're not taking into account here. Illinois just went legal, recreational legal, like Colorado legal. So there is a lot of marijuana money coming into that state for these past couple of years, because if you go back and actually look at the numbers that Colorado started putting in, Colorado had passed this law that I had read about in the 80s that said if they ever had a surplus of money after they had paid everything, well, they would pay it back to their people. And after they went recreational with marijuana, they paid everything in schools and roads and did everything. And they had so much damn money left over that like every Coloradoan had got like a $14 check, because they had so much money left over because of how much marijuana. So marijuana is bringing in a lot of money to Illinois. We've got some roads in Southern Illinois that are finally getting paved, and they hadn't been paved since they laid down the original shit in 1940. So there's some money coming in.
I mean, like, I don't care one way or another about where the Bears put their stadium or lay into some place. I am a little bit, I am critical of city and state governments using taxpayer funds to subsidize businesses. like this, or like really like anything to subsidize businesses. They're taking taxpayers' money, they're giving it to these multi-billion-dollar things that, you know, I'm just like, if you're a team and your business is so great, then plant yourself wherever you want and, you know, make money. But, you know, I understand that they're going to get the city to pay for the stadium, or they're going to get the whatever to pay for the land, and, you know, get tax breaks and not have, I mean, I understand all of that complicated relationship. And by the way, didn't we already talk about corruption in Illinois as well as
Illinois has
everywhere else?
never had any corruption in their government. What are you talking about?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Well, I think we got a couple more minutes before my kids come in here, and when they do, the show's going to be over. But let's see if we can hit a couple of these real quick. There is a story here in Just the News. Here, I don't. This lady's face isn't relevant. This is justthenews.com, and it is NewsGuard certified. Nearly half American adults are having trouble covering household expenses since this poll shows.
I think that's bull crap. I think the number's a lot more than that.
It's way more than that.
Yeah, it's not half. It's like 80%, 85%.
Nearly half of American adults are having trouble paying for basic household necessities, a new Census Bureau data shows. A sign of continued struggling amid economic turmoil and record high inflation. This isn't a Fox News poll. This isn't a CNN poll. This is the Census Bureau, and apparently had like hundreds of thousands. Let's see, data from the Census Bureau's Household Pulse survey show that around 150,000 American adults reporting difficulty paying for usual household expenses in the last 7 days, according to the survey. Around 78,000 adults, the largest single share of respondents, reported not at all difficult. So if 150,000 reported in the poll, that means the poll was somewhere around 300,000 American adults surveyed. If you know anything about polling or methodology, that is like 300 times the amount that you need to make a 95% accurate, you know, assessment and generalization. This is a crazy high number of poll respondents. Nearly half, maybe that's more, I don't know. Difficulty, struggling economically. This is crazy. And people are burning through their savings. The money that you're making, we talked about this a couple times, Deacon has.
So
like
there's 330 million people in the United States as of 2 years ago.
Yes.
And they ask 300,000.
Right.
So, okay, so we're 10%.
10%.
No, that would be like one. That would be like that would be not 10. That would be 1/10 of 1%. Which it doesn't matter because a random survey of. Go ahead.
I just don't know, and maybe you can correct me. Maybe this, I just don't understand. How can I have 100 people, and then I go up to one person, two people, and say, "Do you like squash?" Yes. Do you like squash? No. 50% out of the whole United States hates squash.
Okay, so what you have here is you have margins of error, right? The larger your survey sample. If your survey sample is randomly selected, then the random selection will match the general population. The larger the sample, then the narrower the margins of error. And a sample
there's so many factors that go into this.
That's why probably the most important thing is that it be a random sample that reflects the accurately reflects the distribution of. It's called the law of large numbers. The more people you have, the narrower your margins. For almost any survey at all, if you survey like 1,000 people, you're going to have your margin of error down to 5%, which means you can make a 95% accurate claim, a generalization about the population from which the survey was sampled. 1,000 people. This is 300,000 people. The margin of error here is not zero, but it's so close to zero that it's going to be, this is all, north of a 99% accurate generalization of Americans.
Okay.
And this is census, so I'm fairly certain that their survey methodology is on point.
I just never trusted numbers like everybody else did like that when they say 80% of the population says
Well-
blah, blah, blah. I've never really trusted and swallowed that number like everybody else does because of radio and because
Yeah.
I've worked in radio for 30 years. And the one of the questions I've gotten asked a million times is how do you know how many people listen to you? We don't. We use a guess. And we do the same thing. We go out and we poll people, or they get a phone call or something like that. And then we say, what do you listen to? And they say, I listen to Andy. Hi, I'm Andy. They'll say, I listen to Andy, blah, 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 blah. And so I always tell everybody, oh, if you ever get that phone call where they ask you about radio, tell them, you know, I'm not supposed to say that crap on the air, but I tell my friends and stuff, oh, yeah. You know, you're not supposed to do that crap, but that can influence the numbers. So, I mean, I've just never trusted these numbers when they say crap like that, because I honestly believe it's way more than half of people are struggling. I see people every day, and these people don't want to ask for help. They don't want to ask for help.
If you're going to criticize this at all, and this is census. I mean, if it was anything else, I'd be like, well, you know, we have to check into their survey methodology and stuff. This is the census. So you have to, I mean, normally
it's the government, then it's the truth.
No,
we got to trust that.
It's not that it's the government. It's just that they have the capability of reaching so many people and getting such a large sample size.
Here they come.
Here comes Showstopper. Come here, baby girl.
I need to turn my clock.
I will turn your clock on in just a second. All right. Well, I was going to hit on a couple stories about Nancy Pelosi and China, but we're not going to be able to get to it this morning. So I gotta go turn her clock
most
on.
of the show.
No. I think it was great. I'm so glad you were here. I'm so glad to have a guest. We will invite you back again for sure. Deacon, can you talk us out for a second?
Yeah. Be sure and like us and do all that crap, because I don't know what JJ does, but or he says, but we. What do you have to do? Yeah, GhostDog, help me out. Yeah,
hit the channel, hit the like button, click the bell for the notifications.
Over here,
so you get notifications when we get when they go live. I like to say thank you for having me on, Deacon.
Man, thank you for being on. We've known Ghost Dog for a long time, and man, we hadn't got a chance to chat for a long time because I haven't played the Marvel Contest Champ, and the podcast went away. You've been on the podcast several times, so man, it's always good to see you. And thank you for watching and being a listener and a viewer. And yeah, we'll welcome you back anytime.
Well, thanks for having me. It was good times.
All right, see you, everybody.
Later.